DR650 forks suck. I get plenty of questions about adapting forks from other bikes, but alternative forks are always a much bigger job than you think. I always suggest trying the easy stuff first. Ultra budget option, just try 10 weight fork oil and make longer fork spring spacers out of PVC pipe to compress the way too soft part of the dual rate springs more. Next, aftermarket valves, which you just drop into your forks and they work like proper cartridge forks. In Australia, the Plex valves and DXF valves are common. In the US, Cogent DDC valves and Technic Platinum fork valves. Most riders find this is all they need. Next level of upgrade, find 43mm forks that will just slide into the DR650 triple clamps. The best option here is old open cartridge forks from the Suzuki RM125 or RM250. You have to pick the year models carefully to avoid the earlier damper rod forks. The RM125 forks were 1987-1988, the RM250 forks were only 1986. These forks work great. You can use your stock DR650 wheel, front axle, wheel spacers and even your speedo drive. However, you will need to create a caliper adapter plate. You will also need stiffer fork springs. The 125 springs are only 0.356, the 250 springs are 0.44. These are very long forks. You will have quite a bit of fork leg sticking above your triple clamps. Now the difficult stuff, upside down forks. There's a lot of work involved. If you are just an average rider, I doubt it's worth the effort. But you may just like the modern look, of course. Here are the problem areas. Do the triple clamps have the same head bearing sizes as the DR650? If not, can the DR650 head stem fit the other triple clamps? Is the head stem the same length? Often you will need a spacer. You usually lose your steering lock, although one or two guys have apparently made brackets to suit. You need to create an alternative mount for your speedo, ignition and lights. Ditto for a headlight bracket. On eBay you can buy brackets that will fit various size fork legs. Just search for headlight bracket, fork tubes. Full lock will usually be different and the forks may hit your tank unless you somehow build up the steering stops. Front wheel. Two options here. The easiest option is to get the front wheel that matches the new forks. It will have a smaller front disc, so you'll need to buy a 310 or 320mm Motard disc and disc adapter. Expensive, but you'll have slightly better brakes. And of course you lose your speedo. Option 2. Create a caliper adapter plate and wheel spacers that will let you adapt the DR650 front wheel. It can take some fancy machining to create wheel spacers that will accept the DR axle. It can be tricky to retain your speedo drive too. You may need to buy an electronic aftermarket speedo. Front fender, you can just drill new holes to use the stock fender. Most of us buy a YZ or WR450F fender in the right colour, which usually looks better and wobbles around less than the stock fender. The bike will sit higher at the front end. Good for inline stability, but less likely to turn. You may like it or dislike it. You can slide the forks up in the triple clamps to offset this to varying degrees. But if you are tall, another option is to fit shorter dog bones which raise the rear of the bike. If you have a stock shock, there's an added advantage here. The shorter dog bones actually increase the effective spring and damping through the first half of the shock stroke, which are an improvement for everyday riding. However, the second half of the stroke is weaker, so for aggressive riding you will be no better off. Search eBay for Jack-Up Kit DR650 35mm high tail riser. With the increased height at the front, you'll probably need to reroute your brake line slightly. And finally, you will need to mess around with spring rates, fork oil and revalving to get the most out of those new forks. So, still interested in the upside down forks despite so much work needed? A common conversion uses RMZ 250 or RMZ 450 forks. Plenty of these available. Some owners have reported the work involved. See our pinned first comment for relevant links. YZ450F and WR450F fork conversions are fairly popular. The 250 forks work as well. One advantage here is you can find wheel bearings to fit the DR650 front axle. If you Google around, you will find other conversions too. KTM forks, DRZ400 forks. Which will suit you? Unfortunately, I'm not qualified to advise you. Do your research, explore all the options and decide if you want a major project on your hands. Have you done a conversion? How did it go? If you have any good links, let us know and we will post them in the pinned first comment.